Good morning, traders and investors. My name is Roger Scott, and I'm the Senior Strategist for Wealth Press. Today is Friday. It's March 25th, and boy, oh boy, it's a month now. It's a month and a day since we started this, or since Russia and Ukraine started going at it. I can't believe a month passed by already. But boy, oh boy, the market has been holding up exceedingly well, especially in light of the fact that the Fed now has a concrete plan going forward. Markets like certainty. And last week, the Fed gave us an interesting plan, and they even were very, very bearish in light of the projections, and the markets still rallied. The markets like certainty. And the markets are up today after opening lower yesterday and reversing and opening up higher, which is a very, very strong sign. Now, typically, I would say 75, 100 points. We've been seeing 600-point volatility swings a day, 500 points. They're going a little lower, but volatility is very, very high. So I'm not really making much out of these 100-point moves on the Dow or 70-point moves on the NASDAQ because of the type of moves we've been seeing lately. Now, in terms of global economy, the big report today is consumer sentiment. We had jobless claims yesterday, which was showed that unemployment claims were like at the lowest level in 40, 50 years. Durable goods were a little bit short of expectations, but not too much, not too bad. Consumer sentiment will reflect on retail sales because consumers spent 75% on retail. That makes up 75% of the economy, and which is why consumer discretionary and tech is such an important sector. But I digress. The point I'm making here is that this report should reflect on earnings, which start next week. Now, we're starting out slow, but earnings season is very important. Last couple of earnings season, we've outperformed expectations. And every time we outperform expectations, the markets go higher. Now, let's talk a little bit about global economy, and then we'll get into the levels. Global stock markets were mixed Friday internationally after Western government promised new sanctions on Russia, and President Putin tried to prop up Moscow's sinking ruble by threatening to require Europe to use it to pay for gas export. The guy's got some nuts on him. I got to say, folks, who's going to be using the ruble to pay for gas? It's laughable. That's a good joke. Americans applying for unemployment fell to a 52-year low. I thought it was a 40-year low, 52-year low. Putin threatened to require European customers that rely on Russian gas supplies to pay in rubles. That would increase demand for the Russian currency, pushing up an exchange rate. European leaders rejected the possibility. I'll leave it at that. I mean, the cojones on this guy. February 24th invasion, today is the 25th of March, so it's been a month now, sparked investors' unease about the impact of oil, gas, and wheat and other commodities. Russia is the second biggest crude oil exporter. Both Moscow and Ukraine are major wheat suppliers. Oil prices rose more than 50% in 2022. And as you could see here, based on the energy sector, which I will show you in a second, they have been reflecting that price really, really well, and now it looks like it's kind of choppy here. Now, before we get into the deep analysis, let's do some sector analysis because I want to go through some important levels. Very, very important. So energy looks like it's going to stay near the top or remain near this range. Utilities, as I said, there's very little choice for them but to remain inflated, especially in light of the natural gas debacle and the energy levels. Basic materials, I told you basic materials, it's a no-brainer right now. Healthcare, I'm kind of not here, not there about. Tech rallied, and tech is now above major levels, which is in the breakout zone. Consumer staples is lagging because consumer discretionary, which is right here, and tech are going crazy. But I wouldn't rule out consumer discretionary at these levels. And communications is finally starting to break out to the upside, but I wouldn't be holding my breath for too much upside here, at least for now, at least until we get a real breakout. So the only sectors that are lagging right now are consumer staples and where's real estate? Healthcare and where's real estate? And real estate, just kind of not here, not there. The rest of the sectors are moving. Now, here is where the good stuff comes in. Let's look at the SPY. We are now officially nicely above the 50-day moving average. And I'm hoping that the market's going to continue moving higher because this is an interesting area that we just broke out of. If we have another day, or if today we don't touch the ugly colored mustard line here, which is the 200-day moving average, that's a very, very positive sign. If we go higher from here, that's a very positive sign. If we stay around here, it's still a positive sign because the market's now above the 200-day moving average. And it's opening up pretty good right now. Now, if we look at the Dow, you will see that the Dow Jones is abutting the 200-day moving average. It's not that great, but I'd love to see it break above. I want to see it break above and take out just like what we're seeing on the S&P. And I'd especially like us to see us break the 357 or the 35,700 or 35,800 level. If we can break that, we're going to go back to all-time highs. On the QQQ, let's take a look here. Oh, I love the way this looks. Looks like we're going higher. We broke out of this zone which we've been in for since the 16th, since before the war started this year, excuse me. This is during the war right here. And markets look like they're shaking it off pretty good right now. And I like what I'm seeing here. We're above the 50-day line, but the 50-day line is below the 200-day line, so it's not that meaningful. I'd like to see price break out above the 200-day moving average, show some stability. As I told you guys last time, the main level on consumer discretionary, and we're not that far away, is right here. It's 190, 191. And I said it on the 9th of February, and I'm going to say it again. Nothing good's going to happen until we break above that level. I meant it. We're just going to be choppy, just gyrating. I want to see us break above this level, which is why I'm holding options for so long right now, because if we break above this level, we're going to start testing all-time highs again, or really riding, because there's a lot of stops. There's a lot of stops around these moving averages and around these pivot points. And if we can break above these levels, these areas, the assets will rise. There's a lot of short interest right now. Look at that. The semiconductors are actually breaking above. That's a tech sector, and we're breaking above the 200-day line. That major level is 289.70. But honestly, if we could just break a little bit higher, we would be in a good position. And small caps are finally starting to move. The area there, we're not out of that box yet, but that area is 210. If we can break out of 210, we're going to go higher. Now, this week was a good week, but I'm going to tell you right now, folks, we got to break above these levels. Momentum levels are looking solid. Volatility is looking solid. We just have to break a little bit higher. Look at that. Volatility is going down. We're back at the base, and hopefully we'll stay here. We may have a little gyrations around the current level. But as far as major sectors are concerned, we still have most of the strength in energy, utilities, and basic material. Stay in the defensive sectors. They will treat you right now. Industrial too. I don't know why healthcare is still up here, but industrial, material, utilities, and energy, utilities, material, and industrial, and maybe a little bit of financial. I think financial is going to be rocking and rolling. I explained this yesterday. That's my number one sector after energy runs its course, because Fed is going to be raising rates. And if you look at the financial sector, it's looking pretty good around these levels. I like how it's looking, and I think we're going to break out. If we can break out above the 39.40 level, there's a good chance we're going to test the 41.30 level. So keep your eye on financials. This week was a busy week. We had a lot of volatility, and we closed out some winning positions. On Sniper, we got out of AMD. We held this for 20 days. We got out at a 25% profit. We got out right here yesterday. We were in somewhere on 3-4 right here. We got in right here, held it for a little while, had a little baby drawdown, came out like a bandit with a 25% gain. We, as a bonus trade for all of our members area, we got into volatility. It ran away from us here, but I didn't give up. I knew that the news was fake news. Fake news. There you go. Came right back down, got out of our position, made a juicy 10.28%, held it for 17 days. We gave that as a bonus trade for all of our members area. Then we got out of FT&T on Sniper as well. We got in right around the 18th, right here, and we got out on the 20th, right here. Actually, one day later. It was a weekend. 3 days, if you will, including the weekends. We made out 32.12% on that one. And the big winner of the week was OKE, also for Sniper. We've been killing it on Sniper. This one made all-time highs, and we got in on this one at 317, which was right here, right there, at a nice little pivot level, and we got out on this one right here, right there, and we made out 37.71% 4 days. We also got out this week on a bonus trade for alpha rotation, this one right here, GIS, and we also got a bonus trade out for CF. So we took out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bonus trades. And as you can see here, things have been looking good. Things are turning around. We've got Apple that's moving, that's looking pretty good. Let me show you. We got a couple of positions that are starting to heat up. But if the market continues breaking above these levels, and I hope it does, because Apple may start going towards all-time highs if it can take out the 176 area. Keep your eye on that. That 176 area on Apple is crucial. Now, folks, before I let you go, look, there's a right way and a wrong way to trade volatility. The secret to finding winning trades right now is all in what I call super stocks. Our biggest winners were found by cutting all the dead weight out of the market, focusing only on the strongest stocks left standing. And that's exactly what we do with my super stock strategy. Folks, click on the link below to watch the video on how this algorithmic strategy works. You guys are going to love it. Love it, love it, love it. Follow the link below. If you're watching on YouTube, go to our Wealth Press channel and you could find it there. Follow the link. You're going to love it. Follow the link. It's happening. It's meat and potatoes. I'm going to show you 4 markers that increase gains from like 600% to 6,000%. It's all real stuff. It's all good stuff. Follow the link below. Check it out. And the most important thing, have a great weekend. Bye, guys. Send me some love letters. I haven't heard from you in a while. Support@marketgeeks.com. Bye.